Welcome, welcome, welcome. This course is called Limitless, how to never run out of quality prospects to talk to. How many people would like to have that a reality in their life? They've got unending supply of prospects to be able to talk to. Here's the thing. When most people join, this is a real fear. It's really scary for people. Whether you're here in the room or you're watching from home, I understand this fear. I've been in your shoes. I know exactly the pain that comes from it. First pain is, do I know anybody? Ugh. Do I know anybody? You make this little list and it's a pitiful list, right? It's like, well, I wouldn't want that person on my team. I wouldn't want that person on my team. And you know what I mean? The pitiful little list. Or you make the list of people who can't afford it. Or you make everybody who's unemployed list. You know what I mean? You ever done that? Make these lists? You make these lists, right? You start there and you usually go, something happens in your mind where you just say, well, I just don't know if I know enough people. Now, the only reason you're in part of network marketing, the reason that you have decided to become involved in this profession is because there was enough on your list to justify joining. Yeah, a big part of our job when we're talking to prospects is to help them create a mental candidate list. So you're talking about your product, you can mention the benefits of the product. Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? Start asking the prospects those questions, and all of a sudden they start, well, yeah, I know this person could use, and this person, and that list starts to grow. You start asking, do you know anybody who's entrepreneurial? Do you know anybody who's ambitious? Do you know anybody who's dissatisfied? Their list starts to grow. Do you know anybody in this area that could help us expand this company? The list starts to grow. Do you know anybody in this other state, this other city? Do you know anybody in this other country that might be open to an opportunity? Who do you know who's sharp? You start asking these questions to a prospect and the list starts to grow. Reason why it's very important to ask the questions of the prospect is it grows their list. And they will not join until that list is long enough. For some people, they got enough belief in themselves, the list only needs to be 1, 2, 3, 3 people long. Other people who lack confidence, their list needs to be 10, 15, 20 long. But if you think about your own experience, how many people were you thinking about when you joined your company? Did you join because, the product was such a revolutionary thing that it was going to change the world and you were going to be a product ambassador? Or did you join because you could think of other people who could use the product also? That's the truth. Most people join once their mental candidate list becomes long enough. That's when they join, and not before. So, clearly, you've made the decision to join and be part of this. So your mental candidate list was long enough. Now, I don't know where I find you today. But let me tell you what happens with most people. Most people treat network marketing like a lottery ticket. It's a scratch-off. They buy that lotto ticket, and the scratch-offs are the 5 people that they thought would probably do this for sure. And they join the company. The company costs whatever it costs. Let's say it costs $500. You pick the number. Whatever the startup cost, that was how much they paid for their lotto ticket. They go to person number 1, their brother-in-law. Oh, this is amazing. You're going to join for sure. We're going to do this. It's going to be spectacular. He says, are you crazy? You scratch it off. And there's a dud. There's nothing under there. You go, You go to your neighbor, second one. It's okay, I got 4 more. Go to the second one, scratch that one off. You go, another lemon. Then you go to the third one. That one didn't work? Really? I got 2, but I'm not very hopeful right now. Go to the 4th one. You don't want to join, would you? Nope. And then finally you go, Mom, please. And she says, I told you the last one was the last one. I'm not doing it anymore. This is what happens with a lot of people. They make this little mental candidate list. This is their lotto ticket. They scratched it off. And were they a winner or a loser? I'm a loser. What do they do? What do you do with the lotto ticket once you scratched it all off and you didn't win? You do more than throw it away. You tear it up first. So how do you tear it up? You tell everybody else. Didn't work. Network marketing's not for real. This thing isn't real. They tell you the dream is alive. It's not alive. I talk to every person I know. You have no idea. I've been there. Stupid network marketing. Do they take responsibility that they didn't really join a business? No. Do they realize that maybe this might have been just a start and they need to keep moving? Nope. They tear it up, they throw it away, and they tell everybody that comes into their orbit, save yourself. Network marketing doesn't work, right? Now guess why most of you are here? One of your 5 said yes. That's why you're here. Now they might have later turned into a dud, but it was enough. It was enough to just get a little encouragement. All right, I'll get another ticket. The next ticket's just a monthly commitment. Oh, it's not 500, it's only like 50? Oh, okay, I'll buy another one. One more month, just one more. Put a few people on that, see what happens. Stay for another, right? So, understanding this is the reality. This is how people think about what it is that we do. And we do some problems with that because we don't discourage this lottery mentality when we're doing our presentations. Not nearly as much as we should. We let them know it's easy. Come on in. All you have to do is know a few people. I'll help you. Your sponsor comes and helps scratch it off. Look underneath, nothing's there. So they tear it up. So that is the reality of the perception in the world. And the reason why you're here, the reason why you've gotten this course is you got a taste. The reason why you're taking this course is you got a taste and you want more. Fair enough? Now, let me tell you my story. My story, when I got involved at age 22 in the network marketing profession, I didn't know anybody. I mean, I had 18 jobs before I was 22 years old. Some of you have heard that story. 18 jobs. And guess what my friends had in common? Minimum wage or unemployment. One of the two. I wanted to make just enough money to get to the weekend. Guess what they wanted to do? Make just enough money to get to the weekend. I wasn't college educated. Guess what most of them, what was their college portfolio? Same as me. You become who you hang around. Who I was hanging around was not that spectacular. So when I made my first list, made this list, right? And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, where's 11? It's like, oh, man. I mean, literally, I ran out so fast. And all these other people, they just kept going with all these people that they knew. So I started off prejudging like crazy. I was prejudging like crazy. This person wouldn't do it. I'm not talking to that person. I owe this person money. I'm not calling them. So all these different things, I prejudged like crazy. I made this tiny little list, and then I was just like, Eventually, I made a list of 100 people. Took some work. I mean, I was scraping, high school teachers and people I hadn't seen in a long time. Yeah, they go to our church, don't they? Somewhere? Yeah, I think. Any connection I could make, I made this list. I borrowed my parents' list, but that ran out really fast. Borrowed my mom and dad's contact address book, and that ran out pretty fast. So I made my list of 100. And I went to that list, right? And you go right to the top. The person with the most potential, you're going to join for sure. This is going to be amazing. You're my best friend. Best friends. We're going to do this together. Come on, let's go. Best friend says, dude, no. I love you. Not going to happen. Cross it off. Right? So I continue. Here's a bad formula. No skills, high anxiety. That was my formula when I started with my best prospects. I went to my best ones. If they joined, they could take over the world. Best prospects ever, highest anxiety, lowest amount of skill, and blew them all up. But they kept saying, some will, some won't, so what next? Okay. Make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Okay. You heard these sayings? So I start going through the list, and I'm blasting through it. And actually, you'd think my anxiety would go down as my list went down, but it didn't. It went up. With every person that got crossed off the list, I felt like my dream was walking away. Everybody, I get emotional thinking about it. They tell me that there's 3 oysters. There's three pearls out of every 100 oysters. There's 3 pearls. You just got to keep shucking those oysters until you find the 3 pearls. And I hadn't found any pearls, and I'm running out. It's going down, and it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. I was scared to death. Now, some people join, but they quit right away, or they join for a minute. I had nothing that was, I was replacing. I was not even adding, I was replacing. I built a little team, and then I was replacing that team with people who quit, and I was replacing that team with people who quit, replacing that team with people who quit. I didn't have nothing close to multiplication. Kept hearing about all that stuff. Unicorns way down deep in an organization. Kept hearing about that stuff, but I never experienced it. And I remember in the movie Field of Dreams, when the Kevin Costner goes to this old ghost town, he meets Moonlight Graham, the old doctor. He said, he talked about his one at bat in life. And he said, what was it like? He said it was like it was coming this close to my dream and having it walk by like a stranger in a crowd. And that's how I felt. Hopeless. Where do you go? I'm out. And then I tried all these different things. I go to the mall and walk around scared to death to talk to anybody. I passed out flyers. I did all this. I did everything you can do. I did all of those things. And I remember I went to a company convention, and there was a meeting happening with the big shots. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to show some ambition. I'm getting into that meeting. So I snuck in. There's probably 30 people around this big board table. Big shots in the company, all making ginormous amounts of money. So I snuck in. I'm sitting in the corner. And I'm listening to them talk about big shot stuff. And they're doing a little question and answer at the end to the top income earner with the company was there. So I finally raised my hand. Didn't tell them who I was. I just said, what do you do when you run out? And he said, what do you mean? I said, when you run out of people to talk to. And they looked at me like I was from Mars. Clearly, I did not belong in this room. But one of them took pity on me and pulled me aside and gave me some strategies that started me down this path. And then I started to become a person of influence. I started to learn how to find people to talk to. And I thought, here's what I thought in network marketing, that your contact list is a natural resource, like oil in the ground. You either have it or you don't. You either have the contacts or you do not have the contacts. If you have a lot and if you have influence with those people, you're going to make a lot of money. And if you don't have a chance. Or you have to get lucky. That's what I thought. And I found out that's not true. This is a skill. I had no idea this was a skill because nobody talked about it in skill terms. Hey, do you know anybody? You know anybody? You know anybody? That's what everybody talked about. Do you know somebody? Right? So what I want to do today, I want to teach you what I learned over time on how to become a person of influence, how to never run out. Because if you're run out or your list is kind of sad and pathetic, like mine was, I will give you hope. It's not even, you know more than you know, and I'm going to help you find the people that you know, but it's not even the people that you know. How many people here in this room, anybody in the room making $1 million a year or better? Anybody? 6 figures? 6 figures. Okay, 6 figures, keep your hands up, please. How many people have you sponsored in your career?
120.
About 120. How many of them did you know when you joined network marketing? None of the 120. He met them afterwards. How many of you, did you raise your hand? How many have you sponsored in your career? 60. And how many of them did you know before you joined? Zero. So none of the people you knew joined ever? Wow. They must hate you. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Who else? How many of you sponsored in your career? 131. And how many of them did you know prior? 3 out of 131. How about you? 100 and?
About a dozen.
About a dozen. 12 out of 100. How about you?
100 something, but I burned my list before I started.
100 and something, but you burned your list? Yes? How about you?
24.
You sponsored 24? And how many of those did you know prior to being involved?
4.
4 out of 24. See, you understand the point? I can go all the way around the room. It's not about who's on your list now. That's just a starter kit. The list of who you know now is just your starter kit. You're going to build some new skills, and through the life that you lead, you're going to attract really cool people. So I want the stress to leave your body when it comes to, I don't know great people to go build a business with, because I'm going to show you how to attract them, how to find the ones that you do know, how to attract the ones that you don't. Who's interested in that? Raise your hands, please. All right. Let's get to work then. 3 different kinds of people in our business: posers, amateurs, and professionals. Posers make a mental list. I can think of this. I don't need to write it down. I got it. Those are the posers in network marketing. Who has it in their dream to be a poser? Anybody? Good. You'd be in the wrong room. Second, amateurs make a written list and then drain it. When the list is gone, their business is done. Pretty much. That's what amateurs do. And that's what, nobody's really taught what I'm talking about right now. Have you seen a training like this in your company? They're like, make a list. Everybody's got the Nike training. Just do it. Everybody. They love the Nike training. Have you noticed everybody wants to be Tony Robbins, but when it talks about these skills, somebody's got to teach these skills. Please be the person in your company that starts to bring these skills into your trainings, into your events, into your culture. How many will promise to do that? All right, fantastic. So that's what amateurs do. They make a written list, they drain the list, their anxiety goes up, they get really super nervous. Then the pros make a written list as their starter kit and then constantly grow it. They view this as a career skill. The ultimate result is what's called an active candidate list. An active candidate list. This is a list that's a living, breathing thing. Okay? So I'm going to give you some steps on how to maximize this active candidate list and how to grow this active candidate list. A bunch of different ideas on how to be able to do that. Understanding many of these things that I'm going to share with you is still your starter kit. It's your natural resources based upon what you're connected with. Why do we start there? Why do we start with who you know? What's of the three things that we do, three things being we sell products using word of mouth advertising. 2, we expand a network of other distributors doing the same thing. 3, we improve the productivity of that network, right? So what's the best way for us to begin this process is word of mouth. What's the best way to start word of mouth is when somebody knows another person. You could hear about a diet 15 times. A friend of yours loses 2 pounds and you're on it. You know what I mean? You could hear about a movie like Crazy. A friend says, hey, I went to it. It's unbelievable. And now you're interested. That's why we start there. Everybody has that in common. We start there. But we don't stop there. Harvey Mackay. How many people know Harvey Mackay? You know the name? How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. You ever heard that? Okay. If you haven't read it, you should read it. He's one of the greatest networkers alive. Unbelievable, this guy. He's extremely wealthy. And I asked him what was the secret to his success. And he said his father sat him down at age 18 and said, Harvey, starting today and for the rest of your life, every person you meet, you need to get their contact information, and you need to make sure that you stay in touch. Creative way to stay in touch, one way or the other. Social media's made that so easy to do. But he did that starting at age 18. I think he's 80 today. He is one of the most connected men on earth. His Rolodex, I'm not talking Facebook friends. I'm talking real, no joke, influential friends, are north of 10,000. And every one of them is a person of influence. I'm one of his friends. How many people can he reach through me? A lot of people. A lot of people. And we met, and he starts every conversation with, what can I do for you? That's where he starts. Most people network to get. He ends up getting, but he networks to give. It's amazing what he does. So many things I would do for that man because of the man he's been for me and the friend he's been for me. It's amazing. So, he's got a great book called How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, which you should read. He has another book called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty, which is probably my favorite of all of his books. This is practical, real knowledge. What I'm telling you is this. The quality of your relationships is your quality of your life. This is life work. This isn't just, hey, I'm going to get some people on my list so I can go build a business. This is life work. Whether they join your business or not, the relationships that you build is life work. Going from being a giver or a taker to a giver is life work. Being of value to the community is life work. Changed everything for me. Now understand, I started off, people would think of me as a taker. Not that I was always trying to get something from them, but I was so introverted that I was guarding my energy all the time. I wouldn't fully engage. I wouldn't fully connect. Because introverts, in my experience, lose energy in a crowd. They need to go stare at the wall for a while and get their batteries recharged. That's me. So I didn't want to lose my energy by pouring myself into another human being until I realized that that was something that was important for me to be able to move to the next step. It was fear-based, it was ego-based, it was all different kinds, self-worth-based. So I started to do that. And like he became a giver, I started to become a giver, and it changed everything. It changes really fast. If your world views you as a taker, you can be viewed as a giver within 6 months to your entire world. No problem.